Hello people. uDemand is a real-time, collaborative learning platform for software development. It produces professionals that are self-sufficient and have the willpower to compete on global business networks. Here in this video, we will discuss about SalesForce Admin. SalesForce Admin is a role that is responsible for administering and managing a Salesforce CRM system. This includes managing user accounts, setting up security and access control, configuring and customizing applications, creating reports and dashboards, and more. It is a specialized skill set that requires a combination of technical knowledge and business acumen. You've come to the right location to get knowledge about SalesForce Admin. Get the whole idea by watching all of the available videos. Following are the topics covered in this video series. Sharing rules, introduction of MVC. Record types, page layouts, and its linking. Lookup and master detail. Overview on many-to-many and self-relationships. Validation rules. Create workflow rules, new custom field. Approval process and flows. In order to learn more about emerging technologies, kindly give the channel a like, share and subscribe to it. Contact us for more details at sales@udemand.org. Let's get started.
So today we'll start with sharing rules. So sharing rules are mainly of two types. One is criteria-based sharing rule. Second is owner-based sharing rule. Criteria-based sharing rules are the one in which you can provide some criteria. Like, let me give you a scenario. So if the status of patient is active, if I'm creating a patient, and status of that is active, share that with, say, Sumit. So I am giving some criteria that, okay, if the record matching that criteria is being created, just share that with the destination user. So here I can provide any criteria except ownership. That means I cannot fulfill a requirement like if the owner of patient, if the patient's owner is Sumit, share that with, say, Anita. I cannot do such kind of requirement where my criteria is based on ownership. Other than that, I can go with any criteria that name equal to this, membership ID, source, status, any field I can use as criteria except owner. So these are the scenarios which I fulfill with the help of criteria. But what if my criteria is based on ownership? So if my criteria is based on ownership, say my requirement is if the owner of patient, say the patient record is created by all the records that Amit create on daily basis should be shared with Anita. Say that is the requirement. So my criteria is entirely based on ownership, right? I am not checking any status, source. So if my criteria is based on ownership, I'll go with owner-based criteria, owner-based sharing rule. If it is based on other fields, I'll go with criteria-based sharing rule. So any issues in this, Anita?
No.
Okay.
So all criteria other than, a criteria based on owner can be done using the criteria based sharing rule.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, and if it's specifically owner based, you have to go with the owner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's say my requirement is if I am creating a record with status equal to active. So all the records where status equal to active should be shared with marketing user. That means although I am creating records, but if status is active, that record should be visible to marketing user with read access. This is the requirement. So say I am creating 10 records on daily basis, all 10 should be shared with marketing user and he should be able to see all my records where status is active. So
Okay.
how to implement this requirement? Search for sharing settings, the same screen where we saw OWD grant access using
Right.
hierarchy.
Right.
Here search for our object, that is patient detail. Search for patient detail or scroll down to patient detail. Here we have patient detail sharing rules. Here we have patient detail sharing rules.
Right.
Click on new in that section. Click on new. Give some meaningful name. Criteria based. So if you can see here, I have owner base, I have criteria base, and this third one is recently introduced that we will cover when we will be covering communities, experience cloud. So communities is of our day 15's topic. So
Okay.
these sharing rules will cover at that time.
Okay.
But currently our main focus will be on owner base and criteria base. So what is my criteria? My criteria is select which records to be shared. I mean, which record we need to share. We need to share all the records where status is active, right?
Active. Yeah.
So we have not created status yet. Let's quickly create status field on this object. So if you have a quick look in our project, we have around 5 fields on, and I'll share this document with you as well. So we have 5 fields on patient.
Right.
Name, source, status, membership ID, email.
Yeah.
We have only created membership ID yet, right?
Right.
So search for patient detail. Let's create a new field, status on patient detail. So click on new. So these all steps we have already seen. It's a creation of new field. Status would be drop down. So drop down is of type pick list in Salesforce. Search for pick list.
Okay.
Pick list.
Okay.
Next. What is the name of field? Status.
Status.
And let's say in our organization, in our hospital, there are only 2 types of status for a particular patient. Either he can be active patient or he can be inactive patient, right?
Okay. Okay.
So let's click on next. Next. Again, click on next. Again, click on save. So now I have successfully created status field on my patient detail object. Now go to setup again. Go to that screen, sharing settings. Sharing settings, right? Click on that.
Right.
Now search for patient detail sharing rules. New. Just give some meaningful name to the sharing rule. Let this page open. Yeah. Give some meaningful name, criteria based. Select this based on criteria. My criteria is if status equals active, right? This is my criteria. I want the just go with the heading here. Select which records to be shared. So I want to share all the records where status is active, right?
Yeah.
And with whom I need to share the record? I need to share the records with marketing user, right?
Right.
So here we don't have any option to select user. So how to do that? Any idea? So if there is an option to select user, I can directly select that, okay, let's share it with marketing user, right?
Right.
But here we don't have any option to select user. Then what to do? So the answer for that is we cannot directly share a record with user. So the
Oh,
indirect way to do that is to create a public group. Public group is collection of user. You can add multiple users in a group. And what I'll do, I'll create a public group, say marketing group, and I'll share my data with marketing group. And in that group, the only user is marketing user. So indirectly, I am sharing my data with marketing user only. So if there is a requirement that I need to share data with Sumit, so I'll create a group where Sumit is the only user, and I'll share the data with that group. So
okay.
create a group. The step would be to create group with that user only and share data with this group. So I'll be
So is
creating.
there,
Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
is there a specific reason why, we have to create a group, or it's just, how Salesforce works?
Right. So in Salesforce, like there is no direct way to share record with user. Salesforce
Okay.
promotes either you need to go with group or role. So there are
Okay.
two. So the widely used option is group.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll be creating a group. I'll adding marketing user in that. So it will be a group with only marketing user, and I'll share the record with marketing group. That means I am
Mhm.
sharing data with that user indirectly. You can add multiple users in a group, but my
Uh-huh.
requirement is I need to share only with marketing user. So for now, I'll only add marketing user in that group, right?
Okay.
Okay, so let's create a group very quickly. Let's discard this screen for one
Mm-hmm.
and click on public group.
Mm-hmm.
So it's already there. Let me delete this and let me create a new public group.
Okay.
Or let me create just 1 minute as so let me click on new. I'll give it name as marketing group new.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and in this group, I'll be adding, say here we have option to add users, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me add marketing user in our group
Okay.
and click on save. That means it's a group with only marketing user. So any data that I'll share with this group ultimately will be shared with marketing user, right?
Okay. Okay.
Now go to sharing settings
Mm-hmm.
and now create our sharing rule. New criteria based status equals active. This is my criteria, and with whom I need to share the record. I need to share with marketing group new, the one that I
Mm-hmm.
have just created, right?
Right.
And as per my requirement, marketing user should only be able to see the record, not modify. So I'll go with read only
Read
access.
only. Okay.
Click on save.
Okay.
Now, let me quickly create a patient detail record. So the other day we manually provided access to marketing user, but now let me create a record. Test criteria. It's my name of my patient, membership ID 1234, status active. So as soon as I'll click on save, this record is also be shared with marketing user. And when I log in with marketing user, he should be able to see this record, right?
Okay, right.
So click on save, and now just log in with marketing user. This user should be able to see this record, right? So let me log in with marketing user. So we have not given any manual access, right? So we have just created record, and let's verify whether our sharing rule is working as expected or not. Screen is loaded. Click on go. This test criteria record is visible, right?
Right.
So we have not given any manual access. So we have just created a record, and that is automatically shared with marketing user.
Okay.
So that is the beauty of sharing rule. So now if you create 10,000 record, 20,000 record on daily basis where status is active, automatically such records will be shared with marketing user.
Yeah.
So any issues in criteria based sharing rule?
No, I'm good.
So let's jump to owner based sharing rule.
Okay.
It's like the initial 6-7 sessions are really straightforward, no nothing complex. So there should not be any issues. But yeah, in case of any issues, just feel free to ask any kind of question. So search for sharing, sharing settings. So this time I'll be doing the same requirement. Say this time my requirement is all the patient records where status is active. This time I don't want status is active. I want all the records where owner is Sumit. Should be shared with marketing user. This time my criteria is exclusively based on ownership. So requirement is clear?
Yep.
Okay. Just go to and just delete this existing sharing rule. And I'll be implementing owner-based sharing rule now. So go to patient detail sharing rule, new, owner-based. So my requirement says all the records where owner is Sumit.
Right.
So here it is giving me option that select which records to be shared. And here it is giving me that all the records owned by member of. I don't have option to select user directly that okay where owner is Sumit.
Right.
So how to do that? Any idea?
You put that owner, you create a group and
Right.
add the owner to the group.
Right. So this time I need to create one more group, a sort of, I'll name it as Sumit group. I'll add myself in that group, and then I'll select that group here. So there is already a group, Sumit group, that I created in the morning in the other batch. We can use that, or if you want, we can create a new group. So here I am the only member. So let me show you that group just for our verification, and then directly we can use this group. So there is a group where I am the only member. Search for group, public group, Sumit group. Here I am the only member.
Only member.
Right?
Okay. Right.
So what I'm trying to say that patient details owned by the member of Sumit Group. And who is the member of Sumit Group? Sumit is member of Sumit Group. So ultimately we are saying that all the records which are owned by Sumit
Right.
should be shared with whom? Should be shared with marketing group. Right?
Yeah.
Marketing group we created in the last step, in the last scenario. So ultimately, indirectly, I'm trying to say all the records owned by Sumit should be shared with marketing user. And
Okay.
what should be the access level? It should be read only.
Read only. Okay.
So let's click on save.
Mm-hmm.
So now let me quickly create a patient detail record. Test owner base. Just remember the name of record, membership ID 1234, status I am giving as inactive. So this
Okay.
record should be shared with marketing user, right?
Right.
Because owner is Sumit, and I
Mm-hmm.
have created a owner based sharing rule that should share this record with marketing user. So
Mm-hmm.
search for marketing user, user detail, login. So what was the name of that record? Test owner
Just
based,
owner based.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
this record is shared with marketing user.
Yeah. One question, Sumant. So let's
Mm-hmm.
say, there are 100 records already, but there are
Uh-huh.
no sharing rules.
Mm-hmm.
So we set sharing rules and then let's say we create 100 more records.
Uh-huh.
So the previous 100 records will also, the marketing user will be able to read the previous
Right.
100 also, right?
Right. So
Okay.
sharing rules like respect the previous data as well. So as
Right.
soon as we create sharing rule, it will apply on previous data as well.
Okay. Okay. Need not be just the new records.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So any issues in criteria base, owner base, anything on top of your mind?
I mean, not really right now.
Huh? So
Yeah.
just remember these important points like why we need to create group. There is a limitation. You cannot directly select users. Other
Right.
than that, like we have two types of one is criteria, one is owner.
Mm-hmm.
And first requirement, like we had to share all the records where status is active that we
Mm-hmm.
implemented with the help of criteria based. But when then we discovered one limitation that we cannot share it directly with user. So we created
Mm-hmm.
one group that was
Mm-hmm.
marketing group. So that solved our issue. Then in the second requirement, we had to specify that all the records where owner is Sumit. So again,
Mm-hmm.
we discovered the same issue. We were not able to select Sumit as criteria, as we cannot select user as criteria. So we had to
Mm-hmm.
create a group where Sumit is the only member. Then
Right.
we selected that, and then finally we shared that with marketing user, where a marketing group, where marketing user is the only member. So
Got
that solved our requirement, that fulfilled our requirement.
it.
So
Mm-hmm.
that is how we implement in live projects. Like it solves very, I would say, critical problems. Millions of data it can share in fractions of second. So
Mm-hmm.
on daily basis, like if say 1 lakh record, 50,000 records are being created, so automatically sharing rule will share them with required user. So that is the
Okay.
beauty of
And
uh-huh.
this sharing also only admin is allowed to do.
Manual sharing. You are saying?
No, generally, this sharing access
Uh-huh.
is given only to the admin.
Yeah. So if you are saying about that sharing button, that manual sharing, right? Or this
Yeah.
sharing rule also, like this entire thing, admin will be doing. He will be creating
Okay.
sharing rules.
Mm-hmm.
He will have access to sharing button. He will
Mm-hmm.
be sharing the data with required user. Say
Mm-hmm.
someone has approached admin that, hey, I am not able to see this record. Let's share it with me. So
Mm-hmm.
he will be providing it using manual sharing. But if
Okay.
say on daily basis such requirements are coming, so admin will try to automate that. And in search of automation, he will think of sharing rule, right?
Rules.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, if the requirement is very, I would say small, only 2, 3 records, 5, 10 records are coming on daily basis, he will be
Mm-hmm.
going with manual sharing. If say thousands of records are coming on daily basis, then admin will definitely go with sharing rule.
Sharing rules. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that is how we implement sharing rule. Just go through this recording, like I mentioned, this like initial 7, 8 sessions are very light, no hectic, so that you have ample time to go through them and try to implement. So just go through all the previous recordings and today's session, and in
Mm-hmm.
case of any issues, just let me know tomorrow. So we'll start with next topic from tomorrow.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. One more thing,
Huh?
Sumit. You said you'll touch base on that, the introduction to
Uh-huh.
Salesforce. Should
Right,
we
right,
do
right.
that today or?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I mean, good point. So, yeah, I mean, we can utilize this time. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is the PPT for our introduction. So,
Mm-hmm.
mainly just to give the participants the idea about Salesforce, what Salesforce is, why Salesforce is leading CRM, what is the beauty of Salesforce. Like, we have more than, I would say, I mean, hundreds of CRM in market, but why Salesforce is leading CRM?
Mm-hmm.
The answer to that is like, here we have something in our kitty, in our bucket for everyone. Like, say, let's target our product life cycle. From the very beginning, say, I need to sell my product to someone. How efficiently I can sell my product, how I can acquire leads, how I can reach to mass audience after selling, how I can provide them good service after sale service. So in Salesforce, we have inbuilt application that fulfills like all our needs. So they have
Mm-hmm.
minutely think of each and every requirement, and something is there by default for all important, I would say, junctions in product life cycle. So from the very beginning, acquiring the leads, reaching out mass audience, selling the product, after sale service, providing some platform to partners, customers. We have a lot of things for our entire product life cycle. That is the beauty of Salesforce. So now the aspect of Salesforce that deals with sales side, like sales side means how efficiently I can sell my product. So the features in Salesforce which are already there that helps in that aspect. Those are bundled under Sales Cloud. Then we have something called Service Cloud. So the features that helps like how efficiently I can provide my customers after sale services. So all the features which are helping in that aspect are bundled as Service Cloud. So we have case, we have entitlement, we have communities, we have like, so in each and every bucket we have a lot of features which are readily available. You just need to sign up in the Salesforce and you can start using those features. So after sales and service, we have something called Marketing Cloud. So in
Mm-hmm.
Salesforce, very special feature, say I need to create a website or web page for my customers, for my partners, where I can list down my products, where I can tell them about my organization, the role hierarchies, the structure, the contact details. So no need to hire a HTML developer. With the help of some button clicks, I can design a web page Earlier that was Community Cloud. Now it's Experience Cloud. The name is changed. Rest everything is same. So with the help of button clicks, I can design a web page, a website, and there I can host the details about my organization. So that
Hmm.
is something called Community Cloud. So that was that was something called Community Cloud. Then we have Marketing Cloud. So Marketing Cloud, like how efficiently I can acquire leads, I can acquire the probable customers, how efficiently I can reach them. So that aspect, the features which are helping in that aspects are nothing but Marketing Cloud. So
Hmm.
after Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Community Cloud, so these all are the different cloud, or I would say they have made a different sections, like say 5 features they have bundled as Community Cloud, 5 features they have bundled as Service Cloud. So depending upon the end usage, they have split the features into different buckets, right? And
Hmm.
and accordingly they sell their licenses, they sell their products. Accordingly they have pricing feature. So let me ask you a very basic thing, or very
Hmm.
important, like whether Salesforce is SaaS or PaaS. So any idea on top of that, around that?
Mm, right now, I just used it as SaaS, right? I didn't download anything. I just logged in and started using it.
Right. So SaaS means any software that is readily available.
Hmm.
We are not doing any installation, any setup, any download. We are just signing it up the way we sign up our Gmail account, and
Hmm.
we have started using that. We have not written any piece of
Right.
code to
The
use
software is already there. We just
the
need,
software,
a
right?
login or a
So
membership.
so
Yeah.
software is already there. We are using it as a service, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that means SaaS. But what about these features are not fulfilling my requirement and I need to write my own piece of code? Would Salesforce support that?
Yeah.
So Salesforce would support that, right? I
Yeah.
can write
Yes.
my own piece of code. I can host it
Hmm.
in the Salesforce platform. Everything we will cover in dev sessions. So
Hmm.
there, the development part of Salesforce is nothing but PaaS. Like Salesforce
Mm.
is providing its platform where you can host your code, and on top of standard features, you can customize them as per your need.
So
So
that's where Salesforce developers come in, right?
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So in layman term, you can say like SaaS is admin, PaaS is developer, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So if someone asks you whether Salesforce is SaaS or PaaS, so answer for that is Salesforce is both. It's SaaS
Both.
as well as PaaS.
Hmm. Okay.
So then you already have Salesforce account with you, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
no need to create an account. Then let's jump to Salesforce Edition. So the one edition, the environment that you have created, it's of which edition?
Developer, right?
Developer edition, right? It's free of
Yeah.
cost. But do you
Hmm.
feel the same edition we use in live projects? Do you feel that?
No.
No,
Maybe it
right?
needs to be enterprise,
It
unlimited.
Yeah. So it will be one of these three. It can be
Hmm.
professional, it can be enterprise, it can be unlimited. So what's the
Hmm.
difference in these three editions? The
Hmm.
main difference is the features which are available will be different. In one
Right.
edition, some feature might not be there, and in second edition, that feature would
Hmm.
be there. And
Hmm.
second is limits. Like limits will be different in different editions. Like in
Hmm.
unlimited, say you can create 50 objects. In enterprise, say let's for a example, you might be able to create 30 objects only. So limits will be
Okay.
different in different editions. So one is
Okay.
features, second is limits.
Hmm.
So when we start implementation for our client, we get in touch with Salesforce, we tell them our requirement, they tell us the suitable addition, that okay, as per your requirement, this is the best fit. and accordingly
Okay.
we purchase that addition from Salesforce.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. So, but developer we never use in live projects. It's a free of cost with very small limits. Like
Right, right.
it's yeah. So you can only create say 2 or 3 users. You can only create I mean 5 objects or 10 objects. So its limits are on very less side. I mean it's not very on higher side. So
Right, right. There are only few things we can do in that.
right, exactly. So
Right.
in live projects, mostly we go with unlimited because clients do not want to stuck in the number game of limits or features. They want
Correct.
to use all the features. They want
Right.
it to the like fullest, like in the maximum possible way. So they want it
Mm-hmm.
to use in the maximum possible way. So
Mm-hmm.
mostly what I have seen like live in the live projects, we go with unlimited. In some of the
Okay.
projects where like requirements are less, we might go with professional or enterprise, but mostly
Mm-hmm.
we go with unlimited.
Okay.
So you can verify that in the company information in your environment, search for company information, just
Mm-hmm.
verify the addition. So how to verify the
Oh,
addition?
okay.
Like which environment, which addition we are using? How to verify that? So
Mm-hmm.
here we have developer addition. So in the live environment, when you will open company information, you might see here the enterprise or professional or unlimited, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that is how we verify addition.
Mm-hmm.
Now, coming on to our next part, that is, so that was the brief introduction about Salesforce. What all
Okay.
are the different clouds? What is different addition? Then how to create a new account that you already have. So all
Mm-hmm.
these things we cover in introduction. Now
Mm-hmm.
jumping on to MVC architecture, if I ask you what is the architecture of Salesforce? So
Mm-hmm.
answer for that is MVC. M stands for model, V stands for view, C stands for controller. So now what is model? In SQL or in any of the in any of the programming language, we have something called database tables. Like in
Yeah.
our case, we have patient, we have appointment. These all
Mm-hmm.
are like database tables.
Mm-hmm.
So in Salesforce, we call them as object. So
Right.
object is nothing but database table, and that is nothing but model. So M stands for model or object or database table. V
Mm-hmm.
stands for view. View is nothing but pictorial representation of data. So V stands for view. I mean, what is view? Let me open any record of my patient detail object. So patient detail is model. So now I am opening any record of patient detail. Let me open this. So this is view, like pictorial representation of my data. And in Salesforce, we call it as page layout.
Okay.
Like it is showing me the details of data, right? So it is
Right.
page. Page can be
Mm-hmm.
standard or page can be with the help of custom coding, we can develop custom pages or page can be standard. So M stands for model, V stands for view, C stands for controller. Model means object, view means page, it can be standard or it can be custom page, and C stands for controller. So what is controller? So controllers are the building blocks of the actual application logic. Say, um, say like just now we have seen sharing rules. So what is
Mm-hmm.
sharing rule? Like sharing rule, as soon as I am creating a record, it is sharing that record with someone else. So behind the scene, it is
Oh,
controlling the
the
data.
logic that's happening
Right,
behind.
right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, so controllers also can be of two types. Either it can be button click based admin controllers, or it can be with the help of Apex. So Apex controllers or normal controllers. So M stands for model, Model is nothing but object. V stands for view. View is we can have standard page or custom page. Then we have controller, that is application logic working on the data. So like going forward, we would be creating workflow, process builder, flow. All those are nothing but controllers. That is controlling our data, right?
Yeah.
So that is something called controller. So now what is the key blocks of Salesforce? We have object, field, application, and record. So object is nothing but database table. Objects can be of two type. Some objects are already there, those are standard object, and some objects which I am creating, those are
Right.
custom object.
Yeah.
Then we have field. Again, some fields will already be there. They will be standard fields, and some fields I'll be creating based on my requirement. Those will be custom fields. Then we have app. App is like collection of tabs. We created for our requirement one application. There we added tabs as per our requirement, right?
Yeah.
And finally we have record. So record is nothing but data or any particular data in a database table. That is nothing but record. So say I have three records. Say I have three. Say let me open. So in this table I have only one data. That means I have only one record, right? So
Yeah.
data is nothing but record.
Yeah.
And finally, we have our ultimate goal. So just to understand what is our ultimate goal. So throughout this journey, we will be understanding the entire admin concepts and will get a good amount of idea like how an architect leverage different admin concepts from very starting, like requirement comes, they design the solutioning, then they implement the solution. So the ultimate aim so the ultimate aim is to understand how architect leverage different aspects of Salesforce to design an application. And our ultimate aim is to create a case management system for a pharma company or hospital chain.
Okay.
With the help of admin concepts, we'll be understanding that. We'll be getting a fair amount of idea like how in real live projects how things work. So we'll be getting
Right.
we'll be getting an idea around that. So that will be our ultimate goal.
Okay.
So that was all about like introduction and MVC. I mean, somehow like I was under impression that that was covered, but yeah, no issues. So
Yeah.
um, it's really like a small introduction that we normally give to participants on the day one, so that they have a fair amount of idea like what we are trying to do, how will we do that, what is how to create an account, what is SaaS, PaaS, additions. So that's the idea behind that introduction. So any issues, anything on top of your mind? So around introduction, MVC, just feel free to let ask.
No, Sumit, I'll also, read again about, this introduction part,
Sure, sure.
and I'll let you know if I have any questions.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are done till day 5 content. So
Right.
like we have like day 17, 17th day of content, but normally we cover it in like 24 or like 21 to 24, like 25 days. That all depends upon our speed. Initially we cover all the topics in like single day only, but going forward, things like validation rule, it's not possible to cover that in a single day, so we keep it in like 2 days. So yeah, I mean that extends the things and ultimately like
Oh, okay.
so
Okay.
yeah, in total that should take at least around 25 days. So we are done till day 5 content. Just go through all the recordings, and in case of any
Right.
issues, just let me know. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, sure.